Alright, welcome back to the channel. Warhammer Man back in the studio, and today we're taking a look at the new Horus Heresy box set and its contents in all their glory. If you're new to the channel, make sure to like and subscribe for Warhammer 40,000, Kill Team Necromunda, Age of Sigmar, Warcry, and of course some Horus Heresy content as well. Pretty much anything to do with tabletop wargaming, especially Games Workshop related. This is definitely the spot for you, so make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy today's content. That being said, let's take a look at what we have right here. So obviously, new version of the Warhammer 30,000 Horus Heresy is coming out, and we have seen a couple of the models previewed already. We've seen some of the tactical marines. We saw both of the Praetors, and now we recently saw the new Spartan assault land raider tank variant. Now we have the entire box in all of its glory. So just looking at this here, you can tell obviously that the models don't have any distinguishing marks on them. So you're just going to get a box full of a bunch of models, and then you'll have the option as to how to paint them, and they can be different chapters based on the paint jobs. So this, unlike most other box sets where you normally get, a couple factions that are facing off against each other, you just get a bunch of generic marines in this set, and then you can sort of pit them against each other, paint them up however you want it. So you could easily build one gigantic army out of this. You could have two players each build a formidable army, etc. And you can obviously compose them however you want. Now, it is not an exact mirror match, as we see here as well. So just starting in the middle, we have our two Praetors. We have the yellow one and the sort of like bluish green one. We've seen both of them up close, both two really nice models. One is super chunky. The other one is pretty cool as well. A little elaborate from what I hear from the Horus Heresy fans as far as like your typical characters are concerned. They have a little bit more of like that 40k vibe, but they have the old school looking armor. Next, we saw our tactical marines up close. So we know the way the tactical marines are configured. You're basically going to have 5 generic bodies, and then you have a bunch of different positions that they can hold their weapons in, and then some actual like weapon options for sergeants, some accessories to go along with them, etc. And all kinds of different bits. Like you have, for instance, the little knives that go on the end of the bolters, or there's little like chainsaw blades as well. So lots of different options. Obviously the traditional Mark 6 Space Marine armor. And we can see in this kit, we know there's 5 different variants of the body. And then after that, probably unlimited ways you can configure the bolters and equipment, etc. But we see here in the box set, you're going to get 40 total tactical marines. So you have 40 tactical marines, you have your 2 Praetors, and then obviously we have the Spartan assault tank. And that just leaves us with the last 2 main pieces. So we see a Contemptor Dreadnought. So the Contemptor Dreadnought in this case has a fist, a missile rack on top, and then the autocannon arm weapon. We don't know if this is going to have all the upgrades available, or if this is going to be the exact old kit, or if this is a brand new kit. We don't know any of that at this time. I think once we see the sprues, we'll have a better idea how this stuff is going to be set up. If we see the sprues the way I think we'll see them, all these items will be ready for like individual sale later on separately from this box set. If we don't see them all separate and we see sort of like the intermingled sprues, which typically will have like, the character with some of like the more intricate stuff as far as like, upgrades or sergeants, etc. on like a single sprue, and then we'll see the generic marines on like separate sprues. I have a feeling, looking at this kit and how it's set up and everything, that everything is going to come on individual like squad or whatever sprues. So I think the Space Marine tactical squads are going to come in groups of 5, and if you want a 10-man squad, you'll just have 2 of those 5-man units, but you'll have your sergeant bits essentially on each of those 5-man sprues. That's what I suspect based on how they did the bodies. So that being said, we know the Dreadnought will probably come completely separate, the 2 Praetors will come completely separate, and then the Spartan as well, and then that way they'll be ready for sale in individual or smaller kits or combinations later on. Now, as far as the Terminators, we have also 10 of the, I believe these are the Cataphracti Terminators. And then we see some different weapons available here. So we have obviously your more traditional like bolt weapons and fists. And then we see a couple guys with like heavy weapons, heavy flamer, or like twin lightning claws, etc. So we know there's going to be some options available in the set as well. But when it's all said and done, that's going to be the total model count for the set. So we have 40 tactical marines, 10 terminators, so that is 50 infantry, including obviously terminators heavy infantry, and then we have 2 praetors, so that's 52, and then we have 2 vehicles, the assault tank and the dreadnought. So we have 54 total miniatures in the set. We don't know at this time what the pricing is going to be in USD, only can speculate based on what we've seen recently. A lot of people were hoping for like a $200 price point. I don't think that that seems reasonable at all. I think it's very possible that this set is $300 or more. We just saw the recent release of Ash Waste, and that set was priced at $299 USD for pre-order. So that is the most expensive kit Games Workshop has ever offered from like their like regular line. So that is definitely pricey. We saw previously, you know, some sets at like $290 and $200 up, etc. But only recently did we see the actual box sets jumping above $200 on the regular. So that being said, the amount of models that comes in this set, and then on top of that, you're going to have a big heavy rule book, which is pretty much down like the $60, $70 line. I'd say considering that rule book and everything that's in the set, I think this set's going to be minimum $300. I suspect there's a possibility, because Horus Heresy is just, it's been so long since they had an edition out. This is Games Workshop's technical like first edition. This is a pretty plump box set, and it's going to have early access to the rules and everything, as well as the new tank. And then I'm not sure if these are actually new Terminator models. I assume they are. We don't get a great view of them. But to tell you the truth, I'm thinking this box set probably comes in closer to $350, possibly even more than that. So that is just my guess, complete speculation. But if we do a breakdown on what we see in the set, let's just say $60 for the rulebook, and then let's say each 10-man squad of your regular guys is $60. Right there, 4 tactical squads is $240, plus the rulebook is $60. That's $300. And then the Terminators, if we say every 5 is $60, that's $460. And then if we say, let's just say 35 apiece for the characters, we have $495, $530 at that point in time. And then we say 60 for the Dreadnought, that's $590. And then we say right around Land Raider prices, $100 for the tank. That is $690 worth of models in this set. Now, granted, that is at retail. Wait, is that right? $690? 1, 220, 340, 460, 495, 530, 590. Did I say that right? All right, hang on. Let's do this one more time and make sure. So 120 for 20 Space Marines, and then 120 for another 20 Space Marines. So that's 240. And then 60 for the rulebook is 300. 60 for the Dreadnought is 360. 480 with the Terminators. And then another 70 for the characters, 550, and then 100 for the tank. So yeah, this looks like about $650 worth of Games Workshop retail MSRP priced models. So, I mean, that's obviously a pretty hefty bundle. Now, there is some speculation or talks or leaks or rumors of smaller bundles being available as well. I don't know if there's any truth to that. I don't know if that will end up happening. It would make sense if Games Workshop is trying to mainstream this game, not to just release some $400 box of models, you know, with the rules. It would make sense that they have, you know, this one massive, huge box at like, you know, let's say $350 or something like that. And then they have, say, a regularly priced box around $200. And then they have, you know, an entry-level box at like $100. So they at least have $100, a $200, and then a, you know, $350, $400 box. I think that's most likely. And then I think that they would keep the 2 smaller versions, or possibly 3, depending on how they do it, available all the time for new people to get into the game. So maybe you get, you know, half the troops and then some Terminators and a captain and none of the vehicles. Something like that in like the bigger box. Or in the smaller box, maybe it's 10 guys, and 2 Praetors. Something to that effect. And then they have some form of like a mini rule book or something like that, a couple dice, etc. So when it's all said and done, I think that it's more likely than not that we're going to see a couple versions of this box. I think this is going to be the big box with everything in it. I think this is going to be priced around $350 to $400 USD. I know that sounds crazy to some people, but just looking at what's in here and the way Games Workshop typically prices compared to value of models, I think it's very realistic that if there's over $600 in retail models here, that they're probably looking for like $350 or $400 minimum for the box. So that's what I expect. I think it's very likely that we get then like that $200 box price range, with a decent little selection, maybe just add in a couple Terminators, maybe a Dreadnought, something like that, with the characters and some troops. And then again, maybe the full rule book, or maybe that goes to like a mini rule book, like a soft cover version with just the rules and not all the extra like lore and art and all that stuff. So that being said, the final version would be right around $100, I think. That's your like starter set. You're basically getting like 5 or 10 Marines per side and then a character. And then again, you have like some sort of mini rule book, a couple dice, and rulers, etc. Just basically what you need to play, and that's it. So let me know what you think. Obviously, there has been some speculation, some rumors, some questions about what's going to be in the big box set. This is it. This is official from Warhammer Community, from Games Workshop, and obviously we see all the new models here pictured as well. Looks pretty good to me. The models look great. Everything looks cool. I like the storyline and everything behind Horus Heresy. Never got into the game. Never even played the game. I played all through the editions though, so technically I've played like 7th edition, which this is based on. Not sure how much changes are going to come to the rules. Not sure if they're going to eventually move everything over from Forge World into Plastic and then, ideally just do everything through Games Workshop. I really have no idea. I know there's a lot of really cool stuff from Forge World for this era of the game, and that's why a lot of people like it. I know a lot more people, if you're not familiar with Horus Heresy, it's basically the fight between the Imperium as they were like breaking off between like Loyalists and Chaos. There's no Xenos in any of this. So it's all Space Marine versus Space Marine combat. So it's a lot different version of the same game, but ideally or arguably more on like of an even kind of keel. So that being said, this is our box. That's my guess on the prices. We'll obviously have a better idea as things go. But just looking at Games Workshop's regular prices, I think it's pretty easy to kind of break down what everything is going to cost. I think your regular tactical squad is going to be $60. I think each of your characters is going to be around $35 to $40, somewhere around there, possibly like that sweet 38 number that Games Workshop loves. And then I think the Terminators, 5 Terminators, are going to run you $60. As far as the Dreadnought, I really don't know what the current Contemptor sells for, to tell you the truth, but I would say it's probably going to be like $60 or $70. Not one of the best models, but I can't quite tell if this is the exact same one or not. And then, of course, for like the Land Raider or the Spartan, we just look at the regular Land Raider price. It's priced at over $100, so I think it's realistic this thing comes in at the same or more. So like around $100 for that. I can't remember if they bumped it up to $112 or $120 or what, but it's all said and done. That's my speculation on prices and what to expect. So far, the models look great. This is obviously a massive box set. I think this appears to me, after seeing everything that's in this box set, this appears to me Games Workshop is going for their biggest box ever, and they're going to price it accordingly. So I would not be surprised, and I would 100% be preparing, setting aside those hobby dollars, or at least preparing for, what could be the first $400 box. We just saw the first $300 box, so it makes sense that the $400 box would be right around the corner. So we don't have an official release date on this. We don't have official, talking about exactly what's going to be inside. We know Warhammer Fest is coming up soon, and I think that's like the 4th, 5th, and 6th of next month, which is about to be here. So it's basically next week, and they're going to do a bunch of different reveals, talk about some different stuff, and we'll get a lot more details then. So hopefully we'll get an official reveal date for Horus Heresy. We will get some more information about like the potential box sets, etc. They've announced things for Warcry, Kill Team, and I think they said Underworlds as well. And then I'm pretty sure Necromunda was on there, and then 40k, Sigmar, and then Horus Heresy. So a little bit of everything pretty much as far as I'm concerned. So that being said, let me know what you think. Have you heard any rumors differently from what I said? Do you have any questions, comments? I always like to hear from you guys. If you do enjoy this type of content, anything from reactions, reviews, news, speculations. Obviously, we have a bunch of painting, modeling tutorials. We show off all our commissions as they leave the studio. Anything from Warhammer 40,000, Kill Team Necromunda, Age of Sigmar, Warcry, obviously some Horus Heresy, some Underworlds, pretty much anything to do with tabletop wargaming, especially Games Workshop related. Make sure to like and subscribe, share it with your friends, really helps to get the channel out there and get that exposure. But that's it for today, Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man. Let me know what you think, and in the meantime, I'm out of here.